Because we're beautiful. Future. Forever. My regular niffler. Hello beautiful people, how's it going? I'm back with another video, and today I wanted to talk about a theory that kind of defies all canon but also doesn't in a way, so just bear with me on this one. I think the entire Harry Potter fandom has kind of reached a conclusion that the Crimes of Grindelwald kind of, in a little way, bends canon as we already know it because it introduced us to characters like Aurelius Dumbledore in which we never knew about. Which leads me to a point that I wanted to make before I got into this video. I have actually quite recently learned the difference between retconning and just changing canon. Retconning is adding information that you didn't know previously, whereas is changing something that was originally stated to be true in previous iterations of a franchise slash story slash book series slash whatever you want to refer to Harry Potter as. For example, retconning is the inclusion of Aurelius Dumbledore, where Aurelius Dumbledore is a brother that we never knew about. There was never a case in which we were kind of told that it was consolidated that Dumbledore only had two siblings, because we learned a lot about Dumbledore from Rita Skeeter's novels, which I mean, is that really canon? So in order for this theory to work, you need to be in line with me in understanding that this obviously may have a bit of retconning in it, but it also could work, possibly, because some of the things that I saw in Crimes of Grindelwald didn't really add up and didn't really make sense, and I believe that Joe is hiding a bigger, grander scheme. Otherwise, woof. So if you're like me and you've seen the Crimes of Grindelwald about 72 times now, you will know the scene I refer to when I say there was a very strange scene when Grindelwald finds that baby in that French house and presumably gets his followers to kill him, but you don't really see it in front of the camera. So essentially what happened is that Grindelwald and his followers find a house that they can plan and scheme and figure out where Credence is, and they kill the family that the kid belongs to, and then they realize that there's a kid there, and then Grindelwald goes into the room and he sees the kid and he stares at him for a good 30 seconds. It was really awkward in the theater, and it was awkward again when I went to see it, and then just again and again and again, and I just didn't understand why it would be so prominent to show us a scene like that, especially when you're trying to show that Grindelwald is a very human-like villain. I mean, if he was human, then he wouldn't have had his follower kill him, which, by the way, again, we did not see on screen, as opposed to the parents that we did see get killed and put in caskets and taken out of. So that's just the first thing I wanted to point out. Now again, this is gonna go a bit off the rails, but just bear with me on this. We know for a fact that Tom Marvolo Riddle is going to appear in the Fantastic Beasts series, because the Fantastic Beasts series is supposedly going to be set between 1926 to 1945 when Dumbledore defeats Grindelwald. We know in between those years, in 1938, that Tom Riddle is going to be attending Hogwarts. We know that this Fantastic Beasts story is going to follow the progression of Albus Dumbledore. And so we are not going to skip the fact that Tom Riddle is going to be in the Fantastic Beasts franchise, whether it's Fantastic Beasts 3, 4, or 5. But we do know that it's going to happen because it just works in that timeline, and we're going to be following Dumbledore in those years. What I think, however, is that we may have already seen Tom Riddle. And trust me, I've thought of this a lot, and a lot, to the point where I just didn't really want to make this video, but then I just thought I wouldn't be true to myself if a theory that I thought just wasn't on my channel. And it's my channel, so let's just do it. So I thought to myself, what are the possibilities that this baby right here that Grindelwald was just staring at, which we did not see get killed on screen, by the way, this baby was Tom Riddle. And you may be thinking, how could that be possible? Because Tom Riddle was born in 1926 and was sent to the orphanage in London after the father fled and the mother gave birth and died. So how could that be possible? And my theory is that we don't know everything that happened in Tom Riddle's childhood. We know that Tom Riddle was born the year Fantastic Beasts 1 came out, so by the time of Fantastic Beasts 2, which is 1 year later, he would be 1 year old, which is practically the age that I think that baby was in that scene. And I could be very wrong. I mean, I don't really know the anatomy of children, but... So what if Tom Riddle was adopted by a French family and taken to Paris a year after he was born? And then obviously when the parents were killed, Grindelwald maybe looked after him. Maybe Grindelwald was the villain that made Voldemort the villain he is. I mean, did you not consider that? Obviously, there's no basis to this theory other than the fact that I believe that Jo wouldn't include a really strange scene that had nothing to do with the story and just kind of like egged it on and was just really awkward and was apparently to show that Grindelwald was merciless. And it's not up to Jo's quality of writing to just show us a blatant scene to just be all like, hey, look at this guy kills kids and he's evil. It just doesn't work. In fact, it makes Jo's writing look a bit childish. No pun intended. But coming back to my thoughts on retconning, if this were to happen, Jo wouldn't actually be retconning anything, because all we knew was he was sent to an orphanage in London. We don't necessarily know which age that was. We also really don't know anything that happened in between until Dumbledore came and took him to Hogwarts around 10 years later. I mean, 10 years is a long time. He could have gotten adopted, put back in there, adopted again, maybe multiple times. Do you guys hear that? Construction going on in the house. Yep. And how clever would it be for Jo to implant a clue so early on in the Fantastic Beasts film that nobody paid attention to? I mean, literally no one is talking about that scene. In all of the movie reviews I've seen and the spoiler reviews and any of the theory videos, literally no one is discussing that scene with the baby. And I just think it's very strange, and it's literally going under people's heads, just like the Percival Graves thing, the Prisoner of Azkaban Sirius Black thing, like all of the mysteries that Jo has made in the Harry Potter series that have had clues from previous novels just come back and just to reveal everything. This is why I have faith that this may be something that could possibly happen. I don't know if it would. I don't know if Jo would be clever enough to do that. I don't know if she would be dumb enough to include that scene that just means nothing in the grand scheme of the film. And it could just be false because they ended up killing the child, even though you did see it off screen and you saw a green spell. But I mean, is it canon that the only green spell there is the killing curse? I mean, really? I mean, we literally saw a fiend fire in this film and all of that black stuff that appeared to give a warning to all of Grindelwald's followers. I mean, there's a lot of new magic that we haven't discovered yet. And as Jo is expanding the world, who knows? And again, back to the Aurelius Dumbledore reveal, you have no idea where Jo is going to take this. She could end up making that little blonde kid, which by the way is another thing. I mean, he's blonde. Lord Voldemort had black hair. But again, you really never know with these films. I mean, for all we know, Harry was supposed to have green eyes in the films, and he just didn't. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that this is just an honest scene where it's not really supposed to mean anything, or do you think that this scene could mean more? And do you think that this baby could by any chance be Tom Marvolo Riddle? I mean, I think it would be a really, really cool reference. I know that some fans might very, very, very much dislike it. But that's pretty much all I have to say on the matter. So thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate every single one of you. I just love you guys so much. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like and a comment down below, and subscribe to my channel to see a lot more Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts content. Bye guys! Yes.